Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What does sensorality stabilize? So we're just continuing on with our derivation, one foot in front of the other, proving what we can, developing our definition. All of the logic is contained with the letters, we just have to get them in the right order. And so, some linguistic differentiation, it will be on your screen. Sensorality with a C is sensorality. And now again, if you're looking at it on the screen, now we have that sensor, the S-E-N-S-E-R. You said, Brad, right? You just said we've proven S-E-N-S-O-R is a correct spelling and C-E-N-S-E-R is a correct spelling. Correct, but now we're iterating. So that S is an iteration of the C, but it's not sensorality with an O. Sensorality is sensorality. Now it is. Sensorality is sensorability. Sensorability is sensorability. Again, some nuance to that, but again, just every step, the linguistics, the letter iterations. Again, we're at levels of math you have not seen, but that is what we have. Because again, remember, we're building up to one theorem, and it's proven by a direct iteration, switching, reordering a position of the letters. Sensorality is sensorability. Sensorality is answerability. Remember, we conjectured that way back when. It's still popping up. We're just refining our iteration, or we are refining by iterating, making our definition complete, making it undeniable, showing the part of the definition that is complete. Sensorality is answerability. Are answers oral? She might say yes to that. But again, trying to just generate this self-contained question, what is the theme of mathematics? Mathematics is thematics. What is the theme of censorship? Obscene is the theme of censorship. And so, any of these steps I'm pointing out. Orality, answerality. Answerality is answerability. Again, just look at that structure of the word. How France word snuck in there. Ons is in there. Like Hans Hansen at Stockholm. The Nobel Super Prize. Hans Hansen. John Johnson. Answer. Ons. Answerability. France word snuck in there. Again, it's just a weird construction of syllability to say this is an English word. Which again, I mean, way back when we proved, languages are not distinct. It's the syllability. Sensorality is answerality. Is iteration cyclic? Right? Is it possible to have a cycle? And the answer, again, because of chronology, is no. I can sit here, try to do literally nothing. My temperature's staying about the same. I'm not moving in relation to other objects, so my mass is there, my potential for movement, my energy is there, but time passes, right? And so this, we'll get to it here in a second, but right, movement differentiates position, but then we have this irreducibility aspect, and in the same way we can't take force outside of pressure, or we can't take mass outside of volume. We can't take differentiation of position without consideration to time, and meaning all physical processes take time. And so is iteration cyclic, meaning a cycle, meaning you returning to the exact same, I don't want to say place, but initial conditions? It's impossible, right? You can't go backwards in time. And so, is iteration cyclic? No. Does history rhyme? Or does history repeat? No, but it rhymes. Same exact logic. Cyclicity is cyclicality. Obvious natural definition. Sensorality with a C is cyclicality. Sensorality cycles. What does sensorality stabilize? Some of these, again, a lot of these are pulled directly from when I'm editing the previous episode, anything that I miss. In the same way I react to other people's presentation of language, I react to myself. And so it's like I am extracting every bit of logic and reducing, extracting, reducing, and we're going to get to the axiomatic definition of sensorality. And an axiomatic definition is one that doesn't change, right? Energy, movement, potential, that is as reduced as you can articulate what energy is, and that definition is solidified by the use of the whole species. Not just me saying what energy is, not what Albert Einstein's saying energy is, not what Sean Carroll's saying what energy is. He should be in prison by now. But you get the point, right? Language is defined by everybody. Moving along. And so energy stabilizes tension. And again, trying to show that direct iteration of sensorize, stabilize, sanitize. I put it on the screen, but I wanted to say it out loud. And again, that is our fundamental theorem of physics in proper ontology. And what is sensorality linguistically is represented by, again, stability, stabilize. And so energy stabilizes tension, sensorality is stability. Energy stabilizes sensation. And right, again, sensation is that direct iteration of tension. Just the S and the T, direct iteration. Energy stabilizes sensationality. Imitation is limitation. So I had that one in the reverse order on the screen last time. I had limitation is imitation. But again, we're going from base to range, sometimes range to base other times. But logically, this makes way more sense. Right? Limitation is not imitation because there's an L on it. Imitation is a limitation with an L. But then logically, right? That's something like, I feel like you could put that on a t-shirt and some corny ass dude from high school would wear it, right? You know, imitation is limitation. I'm not going to wear a shirt about LeBron James. Because I'm not going to imitate him. I'm going to be better than him, right? If I imitate him, that's going to put a limit on what I can be, right? Logically, you could present something like that and it could be some corny ass shit on a high school, I don't know, coach's Letterman jacket. The point being is that sometimes, again, I misspeak, but the logic is immediately apparent, right? If I say limitation is imitation, again, literally the L is on there, but you get what I'm saying. But wanted to say it was worth saying out loud. Additionally, lessons are essential. I put that on the screen, but again, we're getting to, again, the direct iteration of these word forms. Essentiality was our last logical renormalization. There's been a lot of them. On a personal level, I don't have to keep up because, again, the information doesn't go anywhere. Right? I've already done all of this stuff so many times. But lessonality is, lessons are essential. Lessonality, essentiality. Again, you can see the letters getting closer. But vibration iterates. And so getting to these frequency plates, again, named after some Indian dude, Chlamda plates or Chlamdi or something, but you just have a frequency, you have a cycle. Again, vibration is the limit of rhythm, but cyclicity, periodicity being, right, something happening regular. And so if you have a vibration at a given frequency and you have discrete particles such as sand, they will stabilize into resonance patterns and they're called geometric and they're great and fantastic. So that's what I'm thinking of when I say vibration iterates. And there, I mean, iteration there is kind of like concentration. But then I have iteration sensors with a C. Again, just trying to pull all of this stuff together. Censoring is sorting. And so censoring with an S is choosing. So then logically, linguistically, the presentation is that sorting is to inanimacy and choosing, choice, is to censorship with an S. What does sensorality differentiate? Right? Sensorality differentiates speciality. Speciality is the natural tendency to differentiate. And a lot of this analysis, we even chop off for sexual antagonism. Right? If you take an inanimate object and it's different than the rest of them, you can still call it special. You're personifying an object, but the logic would hold. And so again, we're just what does sensorality differentiate? Another step of the derivation that came up. Iteration reorders. Sensorality is reordering. Reordering distributes, sensorality redistributes. Sensorality differentiates experience. It's now, again, speciality is linguistically, logically completely contained within sensorality and has been for some time now. Not sure if you can follow that. But again, we're showing this fundamental differentiation of syllability. What is sensorality? Pairing it up to two well-defined things. Once we have that pairing, the linguistics reduces pretty much immediately. Sensorality stabilizes differentiation. Tightening stabilizes, moving is redistributing, differentiating is progress. And then mass is resistance, censorship is resistance. So again, all around, you all like the right, mass is resistance. It's just apparently true. I thought I had something else with timing on here, but just again, time versus timing. But just that, again, talking about that, we covered it, but I thought there was more on the irreducibility. Movement can't happen without time. They are independent logical steps. As we covered last episode, movement differentiates position, but all differentiation requires time. And so it's just another aspect of this irreducibility, and we're building up our definition for sensorality. So again, my rights continue to be violated. The iteration here, I had a lot of physical intuition, again, about structure, right? These letters, the shape of the shape of the letters, the shape of the things around you is some, again, physical manifestation of iteration. But again, writing down as many steps as I possibly can. That is what I have for now. My rights continue to be violated. See you on the next one.